CasoLine MF is a suspended sealing system suitable for most internal dry lining applications. The grid is fully concealed and the ceiling is plastered or jointed to provide a seamless finish. Before we get started, let's understand the gyp frame components used in the CasoLine MF ceiling range. Firstly, we have the gyp frame MF6 perimeter channel, which can also be used to form hatch openings in ceilings. Gyp frame MF5 section is the main section onto which gyprock plasterboards, gyptone or rigidtone boards are screw fixed. This section is often called top hat due to the shape of the profile. Gyp frame MF7 is the primary support channel which connects to the gyp frame MF5 sections. Suspension of the ceiling grid can be either gyp frame FEA1 steel angle, gyp frame MF8 strap hanger, or in conjunction with GAH1 or gyp frame GAH2 acoustic gyp frame hangers, where improved acoustics between floors is required. Gyp frame MF12 soffit cleats are used for suspension points from structural soffits. Gyp frame MF11 are the nut and bolt connection for suspended ceiling grid hangers. Gyp frame MF9 connection clip is used to connect the gyp frame MF5 to the gyp frame MF7s. Not forgetting British Gypsum drywall screws, wafer head screws and jack point wafer head screws. Determine the required ceiling height and level and mark the position and fix the gyp frame MF6 perimeter channel onto the walls at 600mm centres with appropriate fixings. Mark the fixing point of the gyp frame MF12 soffit cleat to the structural soffit at 1200mm centres in both directions to form a 1200 by 1200 grid system. Use a chalk line to mark fixing centres. Measure and pre-cut gyp frame MF8 strap hanger or gyp frame FEA1 steel angle. Mark and pre-drill the hanger to allow fixing to the gyp frame MF12 soffit cleat with gyp frame MF11 nut and bolts. Fix the hangers into position with appropriate fixings. Do not cut and bend the gyp frame FEA1 steel angle and insert a fixing away from the direct position in line with the hanger. This method of fixing greatly reduces the loading capacity and should not be used as a method for suspension. An alternative method of suspension can be adopted where gyp frame FEA1 steel angle is cut, bent and pre-drilled to allow a direct fixing to the structural soffit. You need to remember that maximum loads will be reduced by 25% if using this method. For double-layer plasterboard ceilings, the gyp frame FEA1 steel angle are fixed at a maximum 1200mm centres, but the gyp frame MF7 primary support section is closed down to a maximum 900mm centres. Always check the white book on the British Gypsum website if you need to check the maximum recommended loads on CasoLine MF ceilings. Fix hangers to the MF7 section with gyprock waferhead jackpoint screws, with 2 fixings per hanger. Do not fix the MF7 section to the angle. You must always fix the FEA1 steel angle section to the MF7 section. When extending gyp frame MF7 sections, they should be overlapped by 150mm and fixed together with 2 gyprock waferhead jackpoint screws. Continue to install the remaining gyp frame MF7 primary support section. Mark the MF6 perimeter channel at 450mm centres. Form the secondary grid by running gyp frame MF5 ceiling sections at right angles to the underside of the primary grid at 450mm centres, locating into the gyp frame MF6 perimeter channel. Connect the gyp frame MF5 to the gyp frame MF7 using the gyp frame MF9 connecting clip. When you are installing CasoLine MF ceilings in certain building types, it is important to consider the connection methods that can be adopted. For example, in residential apartments which are designed to building regulations, to reduce air leakage and heat loss from the building, an alternative fixing method should be adopted, whereby the gyp frame MF5 is screw fixed into the MF7 with 2 gyprock waferhead jackpoint screws. This method addresses concerns with something called ceiling lift in the unlikely event that this may occur. If you want to extend the MF5 section, allow a 150mm overlap and screw fix with gyprock waferhead screws. or use a crimping tool. Install further MF5 sections to complete the grid. Using 900mm wide by 1800mm long gyprock plasterboard, fix the boards to the gyp frame MF5 section with the long edge at right angles to the MF5 section with gyprock drywall screws. Lightly butt board ends, inserting fixings no closer than 10mm from a bound edge and 13mm from a cut edge. Insert screw fixings at 230mm maximum centres within the field of the board and 150mm maximum centres at board ends. Board joints are staggered as the installation progresses to complete the ceiling. There you have it! Your ceiling is now complete and ready for plastering or jointing.